Good evening, everyone. Sarah and Ashley with you again with Dating and Debauchery. What is this, episode 6 now? Because I did one without you. Sarah had a little accident since we've seen her last and broke her tailbone.
Sitting on ice right now.
A little bit out of commission. Tonight we have a guest, another guest with us. On TikTok, he goes by Maine B, and then in real life he goes by Jermaine. So I made a little introductory video so that you guys could kind of see what we're working with tonight.
All right.
Yeah, no, actually I have 4 kids.
Damn. I'm sorry.
Stitch this and tell me what you think the love of your life is doing right now.
I think mine died at birth, man. She's probably in the grave somewhere. Spirit watched me from a whole nother dimension. Pissed off. Mad as hell on some like, stop messing with these dumb bitch.
I'm tired of dating sites. These are the S messages I get. Hi. Hi back. You look like you have a bunch of women. Okay. Thanks. Blocked. Hey, how are you? Hey, I'm good, thanks. And yourself? Good, just want to say hi. I'm not looking to date right now. But you're on a dating site. Never mind. Blocked. Hi, I saw you looked at my profile. Hey, yes, I did. I'm intrigued. But you never sent me a message. I don't need stalkers. What? Lizette.
Valentine's Day is coming up. Send
Okay,
your
right.
booty nude. Least you can do. I mean, y'all get flowers and candy. I just want to see a damn tit.
Yeah, no.
So everyone, this is Maine B. I am a fan. I love your stuff. I think you're hilarious.
I appreciate it. Thank you. Thank you for having me on your show. I appreciate that.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for coming on.
Yes.
So Maine B and I met okay, so what is her name?
Unusual Bay. It's unusual.
Okay. Pretty large like following. Like a lot of content out there. She's a as far as we know, self-proclaimed licensed therapist, right? I'm assuming she actually is, based on events that transpired after all of what I'm about to tell you. But so I stumbled upon Jermaine's account because he actually left a comment on one of her videos about, I'm sure we've all seen it, the men's mental health crisis, all the lonely men out there. But anyway, so this lady, she went ahead and stitched that as well, using that clickbait article as a way to very much so just bash men in general. But it had absolutely nothing to do with true therapy or true mental health or true making everyone feel inclusive and accepted and in a comfortable space, right? It was harsh, and it felt very accusatory and almost like an attack. And Jermaine, Maine B, he basically called her out on it. And I loved it. You were very factual. You were polite, but you were very factual, which I appreciate always. You didn't say anything demeaning, which is very unlike her video, which was very demeaning. It was very demeaning and very derogatory towards men in general. I was drawn to that video and I thought, yes, this is great. This is healthy. This is a good way to address the problem that I feel like we're facing in society now, which is this toxic femininity and that all men are bad. And then based just on I didn't even stitch this video. I just commented on it. And Jermaine and I basically, in case you guys haven't read or you didn't know, we're pretty much getting married now because I agreed with his video because I'm a pick-me girl.
I thought that was probably one of the funniest parts of the whole situation. You just came to, make a comment and, kind of agreeing to what I was saying. And so I think once that happened, it was, everybody was commenting and I saw it was all the same pattern. Saw the type of women that it was, that same, just negative, you love this guy, you're pick me, you're just, you don't understand, you're just following along, like those sort of negative attacks. Like I said, I thought it was kind of disgusting at that point, and it continued even onto my post that I made. And at that point in time, it was just like, to me, it was surprising to see that how even my post that, my comment that she made her retaliation video on was just pretty much stating that I used to rock with her, and I didn't get that, her new view.
Exactly.
And I just said that is not the real reason why, what her, argument was, why men over the age of 40 or whatever age are single. I was like, that's not the real reason why. And I was just like, hey, but go off. And that's all it was. It wasn't even meant to be anything negative. It was shocked. When I woke up the next day and I was like, I got tagged in this. I was like, this is crazy. Cause I'm thinking I'm making just a regular comment. Who am I? I'm just some regular dude down the street. And from there, it was that video is what really kind of set me off. And I know that, you're not supposed to police people's tones, but the manner in which she's going about, and by the way, her name is unusually Bree, Bree.
Okay, that's right.
So,
that's right.
But the way that she went into really kind of lashing out at men, the words that she used, just the vocabulary that was used, yes, it was very narcissistic, in just my opinion.
Incredibly, you hit the nail on the head.
Right, you're very well grounded, Jermaine. I'll give you that a lot.
I appreciate that.
That's fine. You asked me what do I do for a living?
Yeah, what do you do for a living?
I'm actually an operations manager for a medical consulting and billing company.
So, in response to his response video, I went on and I made a comment, and I was like, I think I'm in love with you. Pretty sure I am, like, because you've heard him speak now, Sarah. Like,
yes.
he legitimately he takes the words right out of my soul. Like, I'm like, you're saying exactly how I feel, but you're saying it from a man's point of view, and I want to support that. I love it. Like, I love that. And I did get accused, as I said earlier, being the pick-me girl, which I'm so over it. Like, why do they call it pick-me girl? Because you're pick me. I would say because, like, you're actually getting picked, but it's fine. It's
Nikki
fine.
wants to get picked too.
But on top of that, man, I got a lot of hateful comments for that. He got a lot of hateful comments for that. And I just thought, how funny is it that they're so petty and so jealous and so bitter, and
because they're gonna find everything wrong with that moment because they don't have that moment.
But some of the other comments, and then just my response to that, they were like, did he pick you yet? Is this, that, or on her video, not even on his, where I said that. And I was like, I agreed with what he said. Okay, so one of the comments I made, I said, well, he's not wrong. That was it. That was all I said.
He wasn't wrong.
Well, he's not wrong. And I mean, 10 comments just on that, just degrading me as a woman, as a person.
Why? And why? Like, that's your choice.
Moving on. Let's play.
Okay.
Jermaine's response video.
It appears a man has entered the chat. And you're wrong. Let's explore why.
You're wrong.
When y'all get a chance, go check this video out. It's wild. Matter of fact, buckle your seatbelts and just check all of her videos. I'll explain something. First off, ain't nobody going against your ideas and thoughts that everyone needs therapy at some stage of life. But your approach and your direction is, one, too simplistic, and two, your delivery is just way off. It's giving, I had a man hurt me recently, so I'm going to just complain and yell and scream and say everything negative that I can to get a reaction. And you found one. I'd also like to address this thing of her calling her a therapist, and I'm not going to look through her TikToks and stuff, but I definitely would love to know what her credentials are. You at LMHC, what? Because before you start talking about dusty fathers and men needing therapy from their dusty fathers, let me give you a little bit of my background. That right there is my father's doctorate. See, my father has his own mental health counseling services that he's had for 20 something years. And one thing he's definitely done with raising two boys is taught us about emotional availability, emotional intelligence, us being able to communicate our thoughts, wants, needs, feelings in a positive, lightful manner. So, yeah, you picked the wrong one today. See, the problem with you saying your approach to it is very simple. It's just off. You're blaming men for not having emotional intelligence because we're not going to therapy, we're dusty, we're hurting women. Interestingly enough, like I said, it's too simplistic. You're not even looking at the fact of the reason why a lot of us older men are actually single these days. And what we're seeing out there in this fucked up dating pool. See, I'm 40 years old. I know I don't look like it though, but appreciate it.
True.
At the age of 35, and all of them at one point in time has elicited some sort of negative trauma response to the simplest of things. Sometimes just be a simple conversation and it would just lead to them just going completely scotch off because of their past situations with their daddies not being present, their mama's being abused, or them being in bad relationships that they just didn't heal from. So now they want to carry that over to the next situation. And the problem is that some of us men that are at this age that are at peace, we just don't want to deal with that bullshit.
Yep.
So I'll say it again. You had a good point. You started off kind of on the right path, but too simplistic. There's a lot more in depth in the reason why men at I guess this age aren't dating or falling in love or trying to be with people long term. But again, go off, sis.
Go off.
I love it.
Wow.
Well, and it's so funny because Sarah, you and I had almost an identical conversation right before I saw his response video. And the whole time I watched it, I was like, oh my God, Sarah and I just talked about this, about how you had personally a triggering experience, but you were able to compartmentalize that, realize it for what it was, and then communicate to your partner a short while later. This is why I reacted that way. It is because of past trauma. It is not because of you. And I apologize. Isn't that awesome?
And he was able to communicate back to me. I understand. Like, okay, let's work through it.
Thank you for opening up and telling me that.
For being vulnerable and explaining to me why you're not mad at me. You're mad at something I said that triggered a moment in your life that wasn't pleasant. And
the funny part about all this is it sounds to me like she's the one that needs to see a therapist.
He really does. That's
if you're that triggered by these things, like
an article,
take a dose of your own medicine, like internalize that for a moment and sit there and think like, why is this eliciting such a vehemently angry, response? And again, like from the very beginning, I said, she's self-projecting, which is basically exactly what Jermaine's saying in his video there. I just thought it was so spot on. Thank you for posting that, Jermaine.
The one thing that I thought was, and I'll round about to what you guys were just saying and stuff, and even that whole video, is the idea of emotional intelligence. I've heard that word thrown out through every one of these videos. Men not having emotional intelligence, women not having emotional intelligence. And the one of the biggest pieces that I try to, show, and that's why I tried to have that video and kind of show that out, but emotional intelligence, and Sarah, is very much what you just mentioned. Emotional intelligence is being able to communicate that and having a partner that can communicate back that understanding and respect. Not a situation to where, and in part of my video, I did mention the last 3 women I've dated have all been, unfortunately have fallen into that category, to where you would have situations, we would have discussions, any small conversation would come up about time, or punctuality was one. Another one was about her situation with her baby's father. Another one was, a guy that she was just recently dating did something, so she was scared as heck to even, open up at certain levels and stay closed in. And obviously, me being a person that wants to communicate, or when you talk about effective communication, you want to find those reasons out. Like, why do you feel that way? What's going on? Talk to me. Open up. Like I want to understand where you're coming from, so I can react a certain way, and I make sure that I don't hit your trigger points. But at the same time, a lot of times, and from my experience, is that gets closed off. They don't want that force. They don't want to go into that, they don't want to dive into that piece and have their level of emotional intelligence to talk about that. And then when you flip it around, and you have a guy who's eliciting that, you know, emotional intelligence and has a bad day and says, damn, this just upset me. Can I talk to you about it? This is a situation I was bothered about. I didn't like the way you responded to me. I didn't like the fact that I was trying to talk to you and you went hot and cold, you know, and then you have those conversations. And the minute you have that, you're either one, you're too emotional and you're labeled as, why are you bringing all this to me? Stop being emotional, get over it. Or you get attacked for trying to get them to talk or open up.
And
it's like, it wasn't me.
God, you are
you're so on the point.
Spot on.
So on point.
You are so spot on.
Yes. And I can say I had this moment with the man that like he is my boyfriend right now. You know, he hit a few points that I was like, trigger. I was triggered by it, but I was able to say, listen,
step back.
I'm upset right now, right? And then I was able to talk to him and say, this bothers me and this is why. And he was a mature adult that was able to communicate his feelings as well. And once he understood why I was bothered, it all made sense. And like his judgment levels went from here to like, oh, okay, I get it. We're down to here. Like, we're good. Yeah. I understand. I like, you're not mad. You're not upset. You're
and
just
probably just you know, an exponential amount of respect that you were able to internalize, realize what the fuck was going on, you know, and then spit it back out to him like, you know what, I realized that you really didn't do anything wrong or bad, but it made me feel wrong or bad. And that is reflection on my own past experience.
This is turning into a whole like relationship 101, but
I know, right? It's like, this just sounds like a really healthy relationship dynamic.
It was so great. Like
relationship goals. Another caveat to that is definitely, and I think that this goes for both men and women. I don't know if you can agree, Jermaine. I know for myself, and I'm sure for you, Sarah, because we've known each other so long, that toxic friends often can be the demise of a relationship as well. If you allow that energy and those opinions to seep in and you let them overrule your own thoughts, emotions, logic, and response, a toxic friend, like I've heard this lately talking to men, is that, you know, their girlfriend or spouse or whoever, you know, their love interests, girlfriends will actually negatively influence what she does, says, and how she reacts in a relationship.
Follow up to that. Like, I believe in peer review. I believe in my perspective.
From someone you would appear. Well,
right.
Yeah.
My perspective is not the only one. So I want to make sure that I'm reaching out and saying, like, what is my perspective correct? Am I just
and you need to make sure you're reaching out to the correct audience, to the correct
if I reached out to somebody that was a man hater, like, what's her nuts? Like, and I never have a man. This is why all the men are single, because there's women like her telling women.
Exactly.
And what I try to, the biggest thing that I try to say is, when a man hits a certain age, they want peace. They don't, that's the part that I think that she, and even her video, completely missed the mark when she said that, you know, women, we're going after younger women because older women don't want to deal with our shit. And it's like, there's an old adage that states that, you know, men or women marry who they can, men marry who they want. And it's a sense from, obviously at that age, they don't have that many suitors of quality, because men of quality aren't looking for those sort of characteristics in a wife. We're not, now granted, we're not looking for complete submissive. I mean, some men may, but the average man who is at that stage to where they're comfortable with their life, they're in a solid career, they're homeowners, they're successful, Lord forbid if they don't have any kids of their own and they're business oriented, the last thing they want is somebody coming in their life and wrecking their shit that they struggle to build.
Nailed it. And that's fair.
That's the thing.
That's
no one wants that.
Completely fair.
So
100%.
that's where those sort of videos, like you mentioned, will kind of portray that, and they'll carry on, because then as I saw in all the comments that came following
Oh,
after my
God.
release and after Ashley's comment on the video, you see it's nonstop attack. And it's like, why would any man do that? Yeah. And so think about this. Why would, in a video that you're telling men to go to therapy and open up and learn to talk and have emotional intelligence, you have a man that verbalizes in an intelligent way his thoughts. I guess difference of opinion and thoughts on the subject matter, and their immediate reaction is attacking. It is berating, it's bullying, it's down talking.
You know why? You know why, Jermaine? She can't handle that.
Which is the thing.
She cannot. She's used to shit men, for lack of a better term. I don't know how else to say it, but
she's also like, I think Jermaine hit the nail on the head when he said she's a narcissist.
Yes.
She believes she's right.
She's
and
100% right.
she believes she's superior.
Yes.
And obviously, has emotional intelligence.
Mm-hmm. I don't think she does, though, because in emotional intelligence,
she doesn't, but she
like
believes
I
that.
took the test. Did you read Emotional Intelligence 2.0? I did, and I took the test and I scored beyond.
I did not, but I just feel pretty confident I'm emotionally intelligent.
You're just like me. You're just like me.
I did not.
You would score the same that I would. I had to do it because I have a minor in victim studies. Like, emotional intelligence is my thing. Like, it's where I belong. So
she's viewing none of that.
What?
She's not portraying emotional intelligence.
No, there's none, because if I had emotional intelligence and I was trying to reach out to an audience of women who were, for the lack of a better term, like taken over by men or feeling
vulnerable women that have been in poor relationships and situations.
Yes. If I was truly trying to reach out to those women, I would never refer to them as bitches. I would be referred to them as, listen, ladies, here's a story I'm going to tell you. And if it resonates with you, then you need to recognize that.
Oh, but that's what they say. That's what they say about all the videos that are men. They're like, and men, if this triggers you, there's a reason why. Like, basically, they're like,
no, if it triggers you, it's because you're a fucking asshole saying
that means you're a piece of shit.
No, I think you need to go the other way. I think you need to go to the victim side. You do not need to. The men that you're trying to attack don't care. They don't care.
They don't care.
The
ones that are actually suffering.
Don't care.
Yeah.
I mean, that's exactly how I felt. I was like, this is like, it didn't personally bother me until it was like the attack came on me, and then it was obviously the comments from everybody after. But even what she was saying, it was like, it held no merit to me. Even the whole study that she originally, quote unquote, discussed from Psychology Today, it's dealing with online dating. It was talking about the differences of online dating, and the biggest caveat is that is because men are outnumbering women on that, women do have more options. So because of that, they fall into that line of, I demand more because they have a broader range of options. If I give you 3 cookies, you're going to only choose the best 1 of 3. And you're going to be excited about that. Now, if I give you 100 cookies, you're going to be like, man, I'll choose this one. I don't like it. Hell with it. Throw it. So when I don't like this one, I got 8. I got 98 more. You feel me? So
you are not wrong.
Because of that, I understand the sense of women wanting more from men. And that is the one piece that I wish I stated in my response video. Yes. We
have that luxury.
Yes.
Exactly.
We have that.
We've taken advantage of it.
Yeah,
we have that privilege.
Yeah, but it's now getting to a point where it's gone from being a privilege to being something that's expected and what's demanded. So now it's, you have to have this. Exactly. You have to have this. You have to do this.
Unrealistic.
And that's the part that blows my mind sometimes is, you can still be a man of valor and still, show a level of decorum, be respectful, be taken care of, and still provide everything that a woman is quote unquote saying she wants, but she will still find something. And the minute that's one thing picks out, and this is the sort of women that I'm saying that she's appeasing to in her video.
She is, not us.
Not women in general, but the women that she's appeasing and going and relating to in these videos. Those are the women that will have a good guy that fits all that bill, and they will see that one piece that isn't quite right, And because of the level of options, they now shut that person out. So they don't want to put that emotional investment in. They don't want to have those conversations. They just look at it like, look, get on with it. I'm done with it. I'm upset. I'm bothered. They go in a different avenue. They're not thinking of working and developing that relationship, because why work and develop it when I can just go and swipe right?
That's so smart. You took the words out of my mouth. You took the words right out of my mouth.
Yes. Nail on the head, baby.
So,
Jermaine, I'm so excited like we have you, because like we think these things, but us saying them is one
we
thing.
We have vaginas.
Yes. But you having
a penis.
You know, thank you. It means so much more, because your perspective is very different from ours. And like we're on your side. Like we're team dude at this point, you know, like
for real.
We do not appreciate women just men hating. Like we can hate,
because it's so hypocritical.
It is. We can hate a man, but we're not men haters. You know what I mean? Like we can be like, okay, you're an asshole and here's why. And I'm going to tell you because you treated me this way and here's why. But that does not mean
but I'll say the same fucking thing to a woman. I'll say the same thing to a woman, you know?
You're a woman out.
Piece of shit.
If they're being stupid, I'll be like, well, honey bun, like you called him an asshole and a dick and a blah, 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 blah. What'd you expect?
And then the whole theory or the whole argument behind it is that, well, this entire demographic of people statistically, you know, and what's stereotypically does this. Okay. So even though I mean, I actually saw a video like this just today on TikTok. This chick, oh my God, cannot stand her. But anyway, said the same thing. She was like, my sisters were so mad because I called their husband out for whatever. And it was something so fucking stupid. You know, the whole men doing the bare minimum thing. They want to bitch about, oh, he bought me tampons at the store. Like, you want a cookie? Like, congratulations. Shut the fuck up. Thank you. Thank you for buying me tampons at the store, husband.
Be
Good
appreciative.
What is wrong with appreciating something someone does for you? Sarah, if you bought me tampons at the store, I'd be happy.
You'd be all like,
you're the bare minimum friend.
Sarah,
you're the bare minimum friend. Any bitch off the street would buy me tampons.
I mean,
no,
okay,
she wouldn't.
Let me even caveat
my
that.
friend.
Let me even, okay, so we've already established that I broke my tailbone, right? And what does my boo-boo do? He sends me Chipotle for not only just me, but my daughter as well, with cute little names on the name tags of each.
Bare minimum.
Bare minimum. And I did not.
Did he buy you a Rolls Royce?
But that's the thing is there are men, and there are a lot of men out there that are like that. The thing is you have to have them in a comfortable sense to where you can unlock it. A man will give and do more the more that he feels supported. So because a man's natural nature, and this is where we can get back to the biological differences of male and woman. A male's natural nature, you look at a lion in the damn forest. He protects, he provides the safety, security. That is what is naturally embedded in us. So we want to provide that. We want the stability. We want
it
to
legitimately brings you joy to do that.
Yes, it does. It gives us a feeling of accomplishment. Let me not, but there's literally there's a form of respect and love and commitment that unlocks. A man wants that. They want to provide that to their women. It's a thing where they want to have those sort of relationships. They don't want to just sit around and not do anything and not please their women. They want to provide that. But
I'm feeling it. Yeah, 100%.
I don't think Ashley's believing me. Ashley's like, I don't think so.
I'm trying. I don't know.
You have to live vicariously through me, Ashley. And let me just tell you.
I'm truly listening, and the reason I say really, wow, because it is so innately different than we as women are. It is so innately different. It's very hard to fathom or wrap my brain around. But I really believe and trust what Jermaine is saying. And the more that I do this type of content, the more that I see this and hear this, you know, the more I believe it. So it's very interesting to me, because just a few months ago, I had a completely different perspective. I was more on the side of the man haters, to be quite honest. You know, it's kind of, that's what started this journey for me, is I started out hating most men. And then in the last few months, in my research to decide why I hate them, I discovered I don't hate them.
You love them.
Does that make sense?
Yep.
Yeah. You hate the men that caused you like issues and trauma.
Right.
Yes.
All men are not going to do that.
And that's called emotional intelligence, Ashley.
I think for me though, personally, for me in my journey, it's more, I don't think it's really so much. Yeah, definitely. I've had trauma experience. We all have, right? But I think for me more, it's a literal understanding. I just really, truly, to my core, did not understand, because how can you understand that which is completely different than you, right?
Mm-hmm.
So for me, that's my journey personally. Like my ex-husband we still have a great relationship, wonderful human, you know. I don't man hate him at all. No. So I don't have that, you know, to fall back, that crutch to hate men. I just legitimately started to become alone and bitter, and then when you absorb, submersion, when you're submersed in a certain type of culture, when you're submersed in a certain type of nomenclature, a certain mentality, whatever it is, you start to perpetuate and believe and just become that which you are surrounded by. So in my journey, you know, to kind of decide, like, you know, I'm really upset by all this and I want to do something about it. And in that journey, it's like I completely flipped, you know, and I was like, holy shit, like
you did.
What an eye opener.
I've seen some of the things that you've sent me about like messages from men, and you're pretty much like, F you, be gone, like you're just done. You cut it. You don't even go further. And Jermaine, you're on the receiving end of this. I mean, based on just your little, like your TikTok of the dating emails alone, like, oh, you look like you have a lot of female, or whatever the girl said. I can't remember.
I have a lot of women.
Yes,
and the thing is,
you didn't even have an opportunity to say anything. Like you're like,
none.
Okay.
What she said was, you're really handsome and that makes me insecure.
Right.
I'm scared to compete with the other women that I'm imagining you talking to.
Yep.
So this is the video, the original video that inspired Jermaine's comment, and then my comments, and then the stitches, and thus ensued the TikTok war.
A couple days ago, Psychology Today released this article about the rise of lonely single men.
Please, with all your spirit gusto, go click back on that video. I've been telling y'all motherfuckers that y'all are going to be single for the rest of your fucking life if you do not increase your emotional communication skills, emotional intelligence, or any of these things. The Psychology Today article that my good sis is referencing is nothing but proof that these podcast alpha male bullshit ass father issue having ass motherfuckers is forcing y'all to a lifetime of singleness. I keep seeing on this bullshit ass app that women have these poor attitudes and all this other bullshit, when men truly need to extend their emotional vocabulary so they can flourish and have meaningful, healthy relationships. But instead, y'all listening to these Kevin Samuel ass motherfuckers, and it's leaving you 50 and alone. Fix it.
Fix what? She's like assuming like a sum fits all concept.
Yeah.
And I can't get on board with that. And not only that, you're assuming they all have father issues.
What does that sound like though?
Well, it's a blame game for one. It sounds like somebody like trolled her and screwed her over, and the
self-projection. Exactly.
Yeah, the dude has exactly those problems, right? Like whatever dude her had father issues, had communication issues, had whatever other issues she mentioned in that video, and she's just straight mad and she's taking an article, and I read that article, by the way.
Right.
And the guy specifically said a broad spectrum of concepts, basically. He did not say this is pinpointed. He did not say it's precise. The only statistic he actually pulled was 62% of men are actually on, like, it's 62% of men on dating apps. It just, to me, it sounds like the article was a very broad concept. He was just saying, hey, I see a pattern. I see a possibility.
If you take all of those factors into play,
he's just telling all you mamas out there.
Is that you and we're not licensed therapists here, but yet we're figuring this out. That's kind of interesting.
Experienced in the world, maybe.
I just can't believe
emotional intelligence.
Play the video though where she responded to Jermaine's comment.
It appears a man has entered the chat.
Oh shit.
Let's explore why. So let's see what we got here. So off on this one. I usually rock with you, but this isn't the lead reason why older men are single. But hey, go off. I'm gonna go off. You know, since you asked. I don't understand this. I'm gonna go off. Men are so stubborn that even a Psychology Today article that is conducted by actual researchers, you still want to argue. These aren't my words. These are the articles of research.
Hold on. I want to pause it right here. And remember how I said earlier, there was only one actual statistic article, right? He did not say Harvard did a study
just
on
wait
why
until
men
you
are
see
single.
Jermaine's response video. Yes.
He's rolling and I'm rolling internally because I'm like, I just said they did not provide any statistical facts except for the fact that there's 62% of men on dating apps. So therefore your chances are slimmer. Okay. That's the only facts. We're running with that, right?
Right.
Okay.
It's the article of research.
Statistics stating that men are actually
by researchers.
Y'all refuse to expand your emotional vocabulary because bitches are not dealing with y'all horse shit anymore. Even in an article, y'all are still not believing this.
Because you believe everything on the internet. I had to say that.
From an article.
Article determines everything about it.
Written down.
I'm going to keep pausing this because I keep here and I just have to say it right then and there because this is so stupid.
So many clients that are leaving their partners because they refuse to expand any part of themselves. This podcast culture has forced y'all to believe that treating women like shit is the answer to getting women. And I'm here to tell you, bruh, that we're human beings and don't want to tolerate y'all fuck shit. I.e., we are okay with being childless and alone at the cost of your emotional abuse. We okay on that. Now, wait. You might be thinking, but wait, I'm not abusive. The definition of abuse is the intentional misuse of something. By you intentionally not taking your motherfucking ass to therapy and talking about all the things that plague you, you are neglecting your bitch. And she's not tolerating this shit no more. You know what? I even pulled the article back up. I'm gonna read this because y'all seem to not know words. This literally says, I hear dating culture themes between women of the ages 25 and 45. They prefer men who are emotionally available, good communicators, and share similar values. Y'all don't even know how to articulate your emotions. So how the fuck are you supposed to maintain a relationship? I.e., you can't. That's why you're single. Still not convinced, boo-boo. I got another one for you. Skills deficits. For men, this means a relationship skills gap that, if not addressed, i.e. in therapy, take y'all fucking asses to therapy, will likely lead to fewer dating opportunities, less patience for poor communication skills, and longer periods of being single. The problem for men is that emotional connection is the lifeblood of a healthy, long-term, loving relationship. Emotional connection requires skills that families are still not consistently teaching their young boys. Y'all can learn this shit in therapy. That's why I keep telling y'all this shit. Therapy. You wonder why older men go for younger women? Because older women are not tolerating y'all horse shit. But now we're seeing the gap close even more. Y'all need to stop listening to these male podcasters who are sad that their dads didn't return with the milk. Go to therapy and talk about the shit that plagues you so you can have healthy relationships. Love you, Kang.
Hold on. Okay,
she's such a hypocrite. If I could count, if I had a dime for every time during the last two videos that she's referred to all women as bitches.
Right. These bitches, these bitches, like, and yet in other videos you say you need to have self-respect. You're calling me a bitch? Like these bitches, like, well, what kind of self-respect is that to begin with? Like, I'm sorry, I'm a woman, I'm a female. I can go by those two words. I will not go by these bitches. You're not going to refer to me as that.
We also need to quit completely ignoring that there are vast human, mental, and biological differences between a man and a woman. I'm very supportive of the LGBTQ plus community, but I'm just saying, as a whole, as society, as men and women, we are different.
Mm-hmm.
We are different. We have different love languages. We have different approaches on things. We have a different mindset on problem solving in general, you know,
right.
And I feel like women today are completely ignoring that. And it's almost like they're wanting men to just all of a sudden overnight morph into these overthinking, you know, individuals like we are.
Right.
That's not, what do they say? You know, wish in one hand and shit in the other. Which one's going to fill up faster? That's kind of how I feel. Yeah. Like, what is your end goal here? Just, I feel like it's almost to eradicate men.
But not only that, I think we need to appreciate the differences between men and women.
Respect and appreciate.
Yes.
So maybe that's why we're not a huge, like, you know, perpetuator of this culture, because we're like,
appreciate men for what they are, because
I mean, I like my man to be a man. I don't know.
I mean, the interesting thing about even like when she started going into her rant is, you know, first off, it's just the whole, what I mentioned was just the delivery. You know, and I'll go back to a statistic that she even stated that came out in the additional article in reference to her being fired, which we'll get into, and I'm sure you'll probably get into later. But at that point, she made a comment that 90% of her clients were men. And
I thought that was interesting.
And one of the kickers at that was, you know, I'm hearing the way that she's talking. And, you know, I mean, it's people say the whole, like I said, don't police tone, but your tone when you're in that sort of a presence and you're coming across as a psychologist and or a therapist, and, you know, you're supposed to be delivering this sort of message, your tone matters. I mean, it is just part of your delivery. So with that sort of a tone, the wording she's using, the reverting back to, you know, online, you know, Kevin Samuels and, you know, the self-help gurus that men actually, you know, relate to.
Because they're men.
Because because they're men. It talks, and I have heard several, you know, Kevin Samuels podcasts. Some of the stuff I listen and I say I hear what you're saying, and some of the stuff I agree with, some I don't. But to literally take that individual piece and whatever has her upset about, you know, whatever male did her wrong or whatever else happened, and then now to project, as you mentioned earlier, onto every single guy. And then for me, the interesting thing enough is for me to get picked out in that. And a simple comment of, I just don't rock with you on this one. This isn't why men older men are single. And then
you even preface that by being like, I usually really like your stuff.
Yeah. And
I'm gonna disagree with you here.
And like I say, and I'm an older guy. So the thing that kind of stuck out to me was like,
no, you're not.
Everything. Unfortunately, I am. But being a 40-year-old man and the relationships I've gone through and what I've seen in the dating world, it was offensive. And I could only imagine, the first thought that crossed my mind was when I was listening to that video, her reaction video, was if I was in therapy or if I was a man that had any sort of, you know, emotional issues with women, or if I had, you know, an issue with my mother that I, you know, trauma from that situation that I never got over.
Or especially your father.
Jesus. Oh yeah, or even a father. And I heard that message, I would immediately be turned off. I would be triggered. I would be turned off. And that's honestly what started to get to me when I saw that reaction. Is I was like, that is not the delivery you want to present.
No,
the exact opposite. And, you know, even, you know, I had a conversation with friends of mine who were in the field. I had a conversation with my father. They saw the video and they all said the same thing, that just on an ethical standpoint of the way she's delivering that message, being in the healthcare field, she is causing more damage than what she's actually helping and what she thinks that she's helping. And that's when you can start to tell that there's something else within her that is triggering that. That's not, I'm upset, I'm going to go on a rant today and hope I go viral. There's literally something wrong.
That just shows more, though, that you're not a toxic, misogynist man. Like, you were just calling a spade a spade.
Right.
I have 4 younger sisters, and they're all on my TikToks. And at that point in time, just the derogatory words that were being said, it's
yeah.
I definitely was a very strong male focal point in their life. Really trying to show them what their future husbands should be and emulating and stuff. So, that's where, that whole respect comes into place. But at that point in time, I don't need them seeing me being called all sorts of things. And
yeah, I don't understand what it has to do with someone being man or woman. It was just the fact that he is a man and he said something that made logical sense. And I agreed with it and said, well, I mean, he's not wrong if,
So do you think
that
like, let's pretend Jermaine didn't make that video and I made that video and you came on and agreed with me. Do you think they would give you as much shit if you were like,
not as much? No, not as much. No, definitely some, but not as much. It definitely elicited a larger response. Him being man, me being woman, for sure. 100%. What do you think about that, Jermaine?
No, I'm 100% agreeing with that. Because the interesting thing is there were women, like even therapists, because this spilled over onto Twitter too. Apparently it was even worse.
Did it?
It was, from everything that I've read, it was worse on Twitter.
That's right, because
on TikTok.
If you Googled it, like it was Twitter.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So, and the difference with on Twitter than what I wish happened on TikTok was on Twitter, there were a lot of professionals that were retweeting and putting articles and listing, the ethics that she was breaking and saying, discussing
she got called out.
Yeah, discussing her, mannerisms and ethics and how she created her videos and the tones and the words that she was using and how it's damaging. There were a lot of actual professionals that called her out, and some of them women. It ended up being a woman therapist who posted the article that actually spilled who she was.
What we're watching now is the video where she actually comes out. I think she posted the first one on Monday, did all of her retaliation videos and defending her misandry. And then by Friday was fired from her job. So that's what we're playing now.
Hello, it's your friendly neighborhood therapist who thought she could save these hoes, but got her job terminated as a result. Story time? I think yes.
No.
Shit you not, I posted a video on Monday telling men that their dusty behavior is only harming them and that they would benefit from emotional intelligence. And I shit you not, by Friday, didn't have employment. All of this started with a Psychology Today article stating that men are lonelier than ever because they have no fucking emotional skills. And I agreed and doubled down and told y'all that y'all lives would radically improve if you expanded the shit that came out your mouth. But instead of healing, y'all will do anything but that.
So this next video, we find our subject moving along the route of unemployment in just, what has it been now, 7 or 8 short days, to panhandling. Let's go.
Firstly, I want to say thank you guys so much for the overwhelming support in all of this.
Now we have support.
But I want to just hit a couple points really quick to just help you guys understand better what's going on. So long story short, I posted some stuff on Monday, was literally fired on Friday, telling people to go to therapy. And a lot of people got upset and attempted to hurt me, but I want you guys to understand that you didn't just hurt me. Yeah, I may have lost my employment, but all of the clients that I've had that I've spent 2, 3, 4, 5 years with establishing therapeutic rapport now no longer have a therapist.
Should have had that in mind.
The people that I was serving have very severe mental disorders, severe abandonment issues. Some of them don't even have parents. Some of them have just recently come down, and I was helping them process cancer diagnoses. So while you guys did this shit for clicks and views, my clients lost a support system The doxing has not stopped. I had to change my phone number because someone, under the guise of wanting to protect me, tried to ambush me in a YouTube live. And it's terrifying. As a woman, getting random messages, that shit's fucking terrifying. This comment says, how can we support? I've been putting out mental health content for
Wait for it.
Haven't received a fucking dime because
mental health content. Gibberish.
Your guys' healing is so much more fucking important to me.
Is it?
If you feel like giving, here's my fucking Cash App. But
I mean, I don't want it.
Honestly, how you can support is never sure.
Hey, stop. I'm done. So no. I'm gonna go off on this one, okay?
Go for it.
The first thing that I notice in the entire video is zero accountability. Not one iota of accountability. Not one. I'm sorry. Not one. I shouldn't have done this.
Talk about my clients online.
Not one bit. I mean, we are not licensed therapists. We are not licensed counselors. Okay, we are just three jackasses on YouTube right now. But I am gonna go out on a limb here and say she might have a problem with taking accountability for her actions.
The thing that scares me for her now, this is probably the last thing I say about this last video, is she's crossing a very strong ethical line, and I really hope that that video ends up getting taken down. If you see it, Ashley, I did make a very big comment that I told her about.
I didn't.
I said it right in the video that, you know, when it comes to her making that one basic comment of, I've been giving out mental health services and not asking for a dime. Like, as you as a licensed therapist in your state, that has to be billed out. And even if you're not supposed to collect anything as donations or tips. That's absolutely 100% unethical. Now, what's going to happen is, as soon as they start getting money and this goes into her account, she's going to have the IRS. She's going to have any insurance contract that she's listed in, that she would have to follow suit with doing any sort of billing for these quote unquote clients that are going to be issuing donations, since she clearly stated, I was giving out mental health services without asking for a dime. Like, she could really put herself in a very, very tough situation with the licensing board for the state that she practices in, just by even going to that extent and trying to solicit and, those tips.
She just opened a Pandora's box of whoop ass on herself. Jermaine and I kind of talked a little bit back and forth about, like, kind of feel sorry for her, but at the same time, like,
you don't.
Girl, like,
she set herself
up to yourself here. And I think that I really truly think that she's banking on her social, like her TikTok following, like, to be able to somehow carry her and help her through this period of unemployment.
Well, I found kind of contradiction.
She's gonna find out quick, fast, and in a hurry that the whole world
goes to therapy. Right. But also with that fact, like the first video post being fired was like, you're only opening up more opportunities. You're helping me succeed. It was all about me. Like, you're helping me. You're opening these doors. You're giving me these opportunities. Like, you think that you're knocking me down, but
her mental, like, it's pain. It is. It does elicit that sympathetic response from us as humans, because in just a few short days, you can see the video go from indignant to scared to rock bottom.